In this week's Blizz Pro Weekly, lots of updates on various zones in Warlords of Draenor, two-handed weapons are finally seeing a buff in Diablo 3, Heroes in the Storm gets a new Battleground, and we finally learn when Curse of Naxxramas is set to release. Hey guys, welcome to the newest episode of Blizz Pro Weekly. As always, I'm your fantastically bearded and hatted host today, Chris Arnone. Let's get straight to it with World of Warcraft.
Here's the beef.
So did you miss out on the gaze of the Black Prince the first time it was applied? Well, don't worry. The buff is back as of this last Tuesday and will be up for 2 weeks. So if you got into the expansion a little late, this last minute push will help you hit the reputation gains you need or the legendary items required. Well, hopefully, anyway. Now, the gaze of the Black Prince buff will increase the reputation gained with the Black Prince by 100%. It'll also increase the chance of obtaining items from his foes, which are needed as part of the legendary Cloak questline, including Secrets of the Empire, Sigil of Wisdom, Sigil of Power, or Titan runestones. Now, the community team has revealed 3 new blogs about zones in which the upcoming beta build will focus. The zones are Gorgrond, Talador, and Ashran. Now, players who played Burning Crusade will be familiar with Talador, as it was the home of Shattrath City and was everyone's home city in that expansion. Now, Gorgrond is a treacherous jungle region that also is the home of the Blackrock clan. It is also the second zone players will explore in Draenor after their initial run-in with the Iron Horde. Ashran, finally, is the last zone revealed, and it's the World PvP zone in Warlords of Draenor. Now, the developers have taken notes from how the Timeless Isle worked in Mist of Pandaria and are applying those to this PvP zone. Factions will compete for control of resources in the land by hunting down rare and elite spawns and constructing defenses. So think of the old school Alterac Valley meets the Timeless Isle, that kind of thing. The zone also has a seamless combination of both instancing and cross-realm zone technology that allows them to prevent condensed population from crashing the world's server, and it also ensures the zones are evenly matched on both sides. Now, if you want to read more, because there's a lot more about that, alright, check out the zone previews and what's coming up in the next week, Warlords Beta. Check the show notes right down below. Alright, let's talk some Diablo.
Stay a while and listen.
So one of the biggest complaints in Diablo 3 has been the fact that two-handed weapons kind of suck. You pretty much always need to use one-handed weapons instead, whether you're dual-wielding or you got a one-handed weapon and a shield. And it ends up, the developers pretty much agree with us. Game designer John Yang went to the forums to discuss the issue and how they will fix it in patch 2.1. He said they had 2 ideas. First one was to make new two-hander passives and buff existing passives for classes. The second idea was just to buff all the two-handed weapons baseline and adjust Heavenly Strength accordingly. They've gone with option 2. So in an upcoming build in patch 2.1 PTR, two-handed melee weapons DPS will increase by 23 to 26%. Heavenly Strength will now reduce damage done by 20%. So the change will be retroactive to all existing live items, but will only affect level 70 weapons, and the change will affect all two-handed melee weapons of all varieties, period. Now, John Yang did say they are considering additional changes, but believe this is a solid first step for those who want to start using the two-handed weapons on their characters without feeling gimped. So, good on them. Now, let's talk some Heroes of the Storm. So Blizzard has revealed a new Battleground that will be coming soon to Heroes of the Storm Tech Alpha. It's called the Garden of Terror. Now, in the Garden of Terror, players will have to collect tokens known as seeds, which will then unleash a powerful monster called the Garden Terror. This is going to be a lot like Dragonshire's Dragon Knight, so the Garden Terror will be controlled by the player that summons it. Now, the map is the first to feature a day-night cycle, and at night, the players will hunt down creeps to bring back the sun. But while it's still night, they will suffer reduced vision as they're trying to hunt down those creeps. This could open up some potential ambushes, and players with good jungling abilities are going to be really strong on this new Battleground. Now, this upcoming week, July 22nd will be another live Q&A with Dustin Browder and Matt Cooper. They're going to be talking about and showing off the new Battleground in action, while also revealing a brand new hero. Now, it's expected both the Battleground and the new hero will be live in the alpha in the next couple weeks. All right, let's get our digital cards on with Hearthstone.
Pull up a chair by the hearth.
It's finally here! Well, not the release date, but the announce of the release date is finally here. It's like a preview of a preview or an announcement of it's kind of stupid. Anyway, so July 22nd, so maybe by the time you're watching this, is the day that every Hearthstone fan has been waiting for a while now. The release of the Adventure Mode announced at PAX East, and 30 brand new cards. Now, Blizzard has already shown off 15 of the 30 new cards that will be featured in the Curse of Naxxramas. And the latest one was a legendary minion called Lotheb, which is going to be a 5/5 minion for 5 mana, with the ability Battle Cry, enemy spells cost 5 more next turn. Now, speaking of someone who just got his ass kicked by both a Freeze Mage and a Miracle Rogue last night, I have to say, ha! Just try to Pyroblast next turn for 15 fucking mana. Let's see you pull that one off, huh? Come at me, bro! No, I'm sorry, I can't pull off that line. It's Paul's laughing. That's not. Anyway, Curse of Naxxramas will be releasing on PC, Mac, and iPad all at the same time, July 22nd. If you want to see all the cards revealed so far, just head over to hearthstone.blizzpro.com and click the spoiler list link, or just check out the link straight in the show notes below. Now, we're going to finish up today talking about something that's sort of indirectly related to Blizzard stuff. Not a bitch session, don't worry. Now, the big thing that we heard about this last week, Valve and ESPN announced this past week that the Dota 2 Championship, the International, which is happening, well, right now, honestly, will be shown on ESPN3 with a preview of the championship match scheduled for ESPN2. Now, this isn't the first time ESPN has shown gaming. They used to televise Pro Tours for Magic the Gathering way back in the late 90s, but that wasn't eSports. Now, back in April, MLG teamed up with ESPN for the first ever esports event at X Games Austin with Call of Duty Ghosts. And now, with a $10 million prize pool in the International, it's no wonder it's starting to get mainstream attention, as like the Evil Geniuses team, which has a Dota team, just announced a sponsorship from mobile carrier T-Mobile. That's huge. So what does this mean for esports and Blizzard in particular? Well, it's starting to become not only a huge moneymaker, but it's also become super, super popular with males 16 to 24, which is one of those holy grails of television, all right? Now, this might be the start of seeing big deals like this, but how does this affect StarCraft 2 or Hearthstone? Now, unfortunately, we doubt you're going to see StarCraft 2 on ESPN anytime soon. The game doesn't have nearly the size audience as MOBAs like Dota 2 or League of Legends. And quite frankly, Blizzard hasn't done a great job of promoting their esports events like Valve or Riot have been doing. Now, Hearthstone, on the other hand, has a really good potential. Remember we mentioned that Magic the Gathering used to be on ESPN? ESPN also has poker tournaments, and those do pretty well. And Hearthstone is crazy popular streaming, even more than StarCraft 2 has ever been. However, Blizzard has a lot of work to do to get to that point. There's still no observer mode. There's still no in-game tournament mode. See last week's episode where we talked about that. And for something like this to work, Blizzard needs to support these kinds of features. Now, one of the reasons Dota 2 has taken off is because they have an observing experience that should be the norm for all games. Anyone can enter the game as it's being played and observe it. Anyone can shoutcast it as it's being played, and it doesn't affect the lag for the players playing, something StarCraft 2 Observer Mode just cannot say. So until Blizzard decides that esports is a massive priority for them, maybe even their first priority, and making the esports experience in a way that can be easily viewed, shared, and easy to understand, I really wouldn't expect to see Blizzard games or tournaments on ESPN anytime soon. That said, there's also Heroes of the Storm coming, and as we've been talking about, these MOBAs are crazy popular for that kind of thing. So we'll have to see what happens. That does it for this week's episode. All right, subscribe right here on YouTube, or if you're watching on iTunes, subscribe to the other one. All good stuff. Check out all of our other shows on blizzpro.tv. You want to listen and subscribe to The Edge, West March Workshop, and the Hearthstone Power Hour. Me, I'm all over the internet, Twitter, Facebook, Tumblr. I'm a Goodreads author. My first novel, The Lost and Broken Realm, is available on Amazon or Barnes & Noble. If you ever have a question, email us at askthebeard@blizzpro.com. And finally, of course, go to blizzpro.com. All the news, reviews, interviews, everything you need to know about Blizzard Entertainment games. Stay beardy, my friends.